Hari Om, welcome to this class on Kathopnishad. Starting with the uh, third Valli, the first chapter, third part, and then we'll probably, if you can finish it, we can move to the next. So this is the last few verses of this chapter, you can say, the first chapter, and its third part. So we'll start with the chanting first. I'll chant at my end. You can chant at your end. ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः ॐ गणानां त्वा गणपतिगं हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपमश्रवस्तमम् ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणां ब्रह्मणस्पत आनशृण्वन्नोतिभिः सीदसादनम् ॐ श्रीमहागणपतये नमः। सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणि विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुरेव परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। So we are into this 15th verse of this third part, third Valli, and we'll start with this. We completed the previous one in complete detail. So this is the chapter where the concepts are given in short, a bit more depth, but then it is expanded a bit more from the next chapter. In the next chapter, whatever we have seen, we'll go into much more details in the second chapter. Ashabdam asparsham arupam avyayam tatharasam nityam agandhavachyayat अनाद्यनन्तं महतः परं ध्रुवं निचायतन् मृत्युमुखात् प्रमुच्यते अशब्दमस्पर्शमरूपमव्ययं तथा रसं नित्यगन्धवच्च यत् अनाद्यनन्तं महतः परं ध्रुवं निचायतन् मृत्युमुखात् प्रमुच्यते. So अशब्दम अस्पर्शम अरूपम अव्ययम तथा अरसम नित्यम अगंधवत च यत्, and then anadi anantam महतः परम ध्रुवम निचाय tat mrityu mukhat pramuchyate. Right, so this verse is describing, or it is a definition, you can say, of Atma. One of the beautiful verses of Upanishadic literature. Some commentators say it is the most important one. Of course, a lot of verses are beautiful and important, but yes, this is one of the verses which even Shankaracharya Bhagwan uses a lot if he has to define Atma, right? So whenever there is some debate about the nature of Atma, this is the verse that is used a lot. Of course, we have seen most of the explanation of this verse earlier, so we will not go into too much detail here. But first we look at what the Atma is not, right? What it is beyond. This is what is being expressed here. So, ashabdam, asparsham, arupam, and then arasam, and we'll leave out nityam for now, agandhavacha, right? So, Shabd, Sparsh, Roop, Rasa, Gandha. These are the five, we can say five. These are the five Vishayas, right? The five sense objects, right? So we've seen earlier also how these sense objects can be more varied. These are the five categories of sense objects, you can say very, very clearly, right? So these are the Shabd, Sparsha, Roop, Rasa, Gandha are the ones that decide how you, or ones that allow you to cognize something. इसके बिना किसी चीज को जान नहीं सकते. Every object that is outside of you has to be having either of these gunas, then only you can cognize it. And each of them is, we saw earlier also, related one to one to each of the sense organs, to each of the Gyanendriyas, right? So Shabda is sound. It is cognized by the Shrotrendriya, the hearing power. Then the sparsha is touch. It is cognized by the touching power, the skin. Then rupam is form. Form is cognized by the eyes. Then rasam is the taste. Taste is cognized by the tongue. And then gandha is again the smell, which is cognized by the smelling power, the nose. So therefore, these are Atma is said to be beyond these. That is, it cannot be cognized. Because we saw clearly earlier also, Atma is not an object, right? It is the subject itself. So there we have to be careful about remembering that essential fact that whenever we are in the search for this Atma, it has to be beyond all of these names, roots, and forms. So why this Ashabda Asparsh? It is mentioned in this order, in this way, because whenever we cognize something, these gunas, they tell us about how we can know something with any of our sense organs. The one that is most gross will have all of these five, right? So the one that is, we say in the Prithvi Tattva, the solid object, it has all these five. It has Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha. So that is easily cognized by us, right? Secondly, we have the after Gandha, we have Rasa, after taste. So that is, you can say, Jal Tattva. So Jal Tattva is cognized, but even if it's very transparent water, then sometimes you cannot even tell there. No, if there is a jar that is full, you cannot see the line on top. It is slightly less easy to cognize. Then arupam, then the rupa. Rupa is agni tattva. So fire is visible but flickering, right? So it changes form very quickly. Just like all the objects of the universe, they change their form from time to time. Over a period of time, they sort of disappear, you can say, right? So in this way, all of these objects of the universe can be cognized from the subtler. The grossest is easier, the subtler is tougher. So that is why we are moving towards Atma. So less guna that a object has, the more subtle it will be, right? So then like Agni will have the remaining, it will have the remaining two also that are there in Akash and Vayu. So now Vayu again is very, very difficult to cognize because we don't see it, right? So it doesn't come within the purview of the eye. But Vayu is, of course, perceptible by its effect on our skin. So as when the skin is there, we can know. But then we come to Akash. So Akash is so subtle. It is so vast that most people don't believe. Even modern science didn't accept for a long time. There was some theories about in ancient Greek literature that there is a substance called ether, and that ether was said to be something that is, you can say, matter. But it was, some people said, scientifically disproved, right? Later on, only when the other modern theories came, like relativity and all, that we could find out that the space could bend. Space can bend, space can be curved, and so on. So in this way, Akash is more subtle, less difficult to perceive, but we saw that we can prove that it exists by the fact that there is a fifth sense object, which is sound. And so sound, since all of the four remaining are connected with all the four remaining Gyanendriyas, so there must be a fifth one. So by that, by two logic, one is this logic, and the second is we also do know it by what we call Anuman Praman. So Anuman Praman is, where is the air moving? So by that, it must be something, some material where it can move, which can hold the air. Right? So Akash, we say Avakashat Akash, that is the definition. So therefore, all of these gunas allow us to perceive all these objects. Now, this Atma is more subtle than these. It is beyond the gunas, right? So therefore, how do we perceive? How do we perceive? There is no sound in Atma. The word that we perceive in meditation is a pointer towards Atma. Om or the other vibrations that we perceive in meditation, they are not Atma. They point towards Atma. We say Om is Atma because when finally we enter into the Nad Bindu, we enter into the silence, where we enter into the uh, condition where we our focus or our attention is turned towards the perceiver, is turned towards the one who is viewing, right? So therefore, Atma must always be perceived not as an object, not something that will come before you and will become available for perception, but as the subject, which experience is always there. Or it's always there in every experience of an object, right? If you want to see Paramatma as form, then we can see him in every object. Because if someone brings Paramatma, let's say hypothetically, in front of you, then again we will say, prove yourself. Are you Paramatma? We will never accept in any way. Right. So therefore, we must not search for Paramatma as something outside of us. Right. So same way, this Atma that we have, the infinite Atma that we know of, that can only be cognized or understood by uh, by the knowledge that it is the perceiver. And once we have this knowledge that it is the perceiver, then we are easily able to move on to the process in meditation where we can fix our focus on that, so that that remains with us, right? Because earlier on what we are doing is we are always associating, even if it is understood, we are associating Atma as a perceiver of some form, किसी चीज को जान रहा है, तो जो जान रहा है, जो जानने वाला है, वो आत्मा है. It is knowing something. So whatever is knowing, it is Atma. So whenever we are connecting to that object, then the object can generate within us a thought. Of any object that we perceive, it can generate within us a thought. And that thought can be of any kind of raga or dvesha. So whenever that thought is generated within us, it can bind us. So even though we know, we tend to forget. We can forget. It is possible that. So that is why that nirgun, nirakar Atma has to be understood and cognized. Otherwise, you can always Atma you can cognize as the Sagun also. Sagun and Nirgun are not different. Right? It is the Atma only that is projecting everything. So once you understand the rest of things as a projection, the whole universe as projection, then this uh, perception can lead you to the fact that the perceiver is the sole, real, unchanging entity. A sole, real, unchanging entity. That is the one. So this mantra is the definition of Brahman only, Brahma. So we call this a very, very important word. Then again we have, after these five Ashabdam Asparsham, what is the next is Anadi, Anantam, Avyayam. These are the next words. So Anadi is something that is without beginning, Anadi, and then Anantam is without end, then Avyayam without decay. So Anadi, Anant, and Avyayam, these are the things that describe what we call the if we have done this earlier also, it is the Shadvikar, the six defects, right? So the six defects. So Anadi, Anantam. So this and Nityam. So these represent the Shadvikara in a shortened form. So what is Anadi? Anadi is what? Something that is without beginning. So what is ruled out here? Birth, right? Birth is ruled out. So it is not born. Then Anantam, without end, without death. So here death is also ruled out. And therefore, also it is Avyayam. So it does not change. So it does not change means the decay is not there, right? So what are the Shadvikaras? Asti, Jayate, Vardate, Viparinimate, Apakshiyate, or Vinashyati, right? So we have three more intermediate stages there. So all of these are covered by this, that this Atma does not have the properties of any object of the world. It is neither born, it neither dies, nor does it changes. So therefore, Mahataf Param Dhruvam. It is Param Dhruvam. It is the one that is totally unchanging. Dhruv is, if you see the Dhruv Tara, that star in the sky, it is a reference point for all kinds of calculations, right? It does not change. All the other you can say constellations, they revolve around that. So that is why that Dhruv represents the unchanging one. Right? Still, overall, it changes. But yes, for understanding sake, Dhruva is something that does not change. Hmm. So therefore, if we understand this Atma as the non-changing, how? As a contrast to everything that we perceive. What जो भी हमें दिखता है बदल रहा है. Whatever we see is changing. Every moment, every second. And even if you cannot spot the momentary change, if you cannot say, you say the mountain is not changing, but still over a period of time, it will decay and it will perish. So, so with all the, even the planets, the galaxies, they all will be the, in relation to Atma, which is infinite, they will all ultimately they will go to that end, they will perish, right? So in this way, this all the defects of Atma, all the defects of the worldly objects, sorry, they can be removed. So it is what we call desh kal atitam, beyond any kind of limitations of time, space, and object. So it is eternal, free from any kind of time-wise limitation also. And this is the Brahman that we have to know. This is the Brahman that we have to know, because whatever outside objects we are experiencing through the five sense organs, they reveal only these fivefold properties, the Shabda Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha. So all these properties are not there. If they are not there, then the organs cannot objectify anything. So, which means the entire external world is not Brahman, right? So then can we take any internal experience as Brahman? So people talk about various kinds of experiences in meditation, some lights and all that. So all that also is an internal experience, something that I'm seeing, right? So any form, any taste, anything that I perceive internally in meditation, it might appear special. It might indicate the Lord also. Of course, it might indicate, but it is not that reality. You always have to be careful that what am I looking at? What am I looking at? So any mystic experience, anything, it cannot be this. And how will this knowledge be? How will this Atma be revealed? Only through knowledge, right? Only through Jnanam. Because through Jnanam, the Shastra tells us that this Atma that you are looking for, this Atma that has been defined for you, who is that Atma? It is you only. Tattvamasi Shvetketu. You, hey Shvetketu, you are that Atma. So there, don't externalize the Atma. Do not expect it to appear something outside. Drigev natu drishyate. It is the drig. It is the seen. It is the seer and not what is being seen. Right? It is ever the seer, never the seen. So it is available only for owning up this Atma, that I am the Atma. You have to own it up. And so whoever knows this nichai, whoever knows this, having known this in this manner, tat mrityu mukhat pramuchyate. Whoever has known this Yamadharma Raja is saying that he will be released from the bonds of death. Or who is death here? He himself, Yamadharma Raja. So he says, you will be released from my bond. Or you can in fact say that I will have no power over you. So when you have really got this knowledge, that is why he was hesitant not to give up, because he will have to give up his power. So therefore, he was not revealing to Nachiketas until and unless he was sure that Nachiketas was ready for this knowledge. So once he knows, then this knowledge of this immortality, this freedom that is there when you give up this notion that I am immortal, this freedom is called Jivan Mukti. This we have seen earlier also. So therefore now, once you have known this, what is that? You own up to your eternal nature. So someone once asked, yes, Swamiji, I have understood everything. And it's fine that I have known Atma, but when will I become immortal? So Swamiji said, go back to the class and start studying again. Because if you are asking that when will I become immortal, then you haven't understood the teaching, right? So because once the sentence has been said to you that you are immortal, then why do you have to? It is not something that will happen with time. It is not an instant in time, right? It is beyond time. So if it is beyond time, then it is something that is only going to happen in your intellect, when your buddhi grasps it, right? The moment your buddhi grasps it and holds on to it tightly, doesn't let it know, that notion is Jivan Mukti. And that is going to take you Mahatav Param. It will take you beyond this Mahat Tattva, the Hiranyagarbha, the Samashti intellect, the total intellect, right? So you have merged your intellect in the total intellect, and finally the total intellect, you merge back into the Atma. So once this merging is done, there is no perception here, no perception. All perception is gone. So here, someone might think that this is nothingness, zero, and go into what we call shunya. So that shunya we have to avoid. So that is why we are always taught, when we are looking at Atma, we have to understand all its aspects. What are the three aspects, main aspects? Sat, Chit, Ananda Rupa. Right? So it is ever existent. All the time, this thought never goes that I am. This thought will never leave. Right? So existence is always with you. Existence is never going to leave you. So even if the objects are disappearing, the perceiver is still there. The perceiver has not gone away. So if I keep in mind that Atma is Satrupaha, of the nature of existence, if I keep in mind it is Chitrupa, it is of the nature of consciousness, then even after merging all the objects, even after removing all the objects, I can still remain assured in the thought that I always am, that I am eternal, I am beyond all the limitations. Then only the true nature of Atma will dawn. The moment I remove only consciousness, I will go into Jada. I will go into Jada. And if I remove the existence part, focus only on the consciousness, then I will go into nothingness, shunyatva. So both have to be together. Sat, Chit, and because this Sat, Chit is are what we have seen, both of these don't have any form, right? So therefore they are Ananta also. Anything that does not have form, that means it does not have shape, then you cannot put a boundary. Ki yahan tak hai. It is till here only this Atma exists. You cannot put a wall, right? Just like space. So in space also, you cannot put a wall and say this is the room space. This is the room space. It is separate from the rest. No, the wall is just an imaginary boundary that you put. The space is there also, here also. It is one space only. Same way, Atma is more subtle. It is more subtle than the space, because it is cognizing the space. वो space को जान रहा है. तो इसका मतलब, what does this mean? It is more subtler than the space. That means it is more all pervading. So it is more all pervading. So that means this Atma is going to be is already the source of all the things that you can imagine, right? So therefore we establish ourselves firmly in that knowledge that I, the Atma, am beyond any limitations, beyond any restrictions. So when I come back now, earlier what is what? We are doing Sagun Upasana, like we saw this Virat Purush Upasana. So in Virat Purush Upasana, what we are doing, Nachiketas also did it earlier. When he's given the second boon. So we'll just revise that part also. When he's given the second boon, there also Nachiketas is taught about this Tri Nachiket Agni Vidya. So in that, what is the main purpose of that? To see through Yajna the whole universe within you. So once you do that Upasana, you can see your soul as the soul of all beings. Mamatma Sarva Bhutatma, we see in the Guru Stotra. So there, that is expressing the thought that I see the whole world as an extension of me. So that is Virat Surupa. But now he's gone one step further. Even that Virat, all of it merging to Atma and all of it arising from Atma, both ways. So once it is both ways, then there is no difference between Virat and Virat, or you can say the Virat Purushaha, the consciousness aspect, and the Virat outside. Right? Inner and outer worlds merge into something that is both beyond inner and outer. Inner outer dono khatam ho jata. That is what we call Pratyak Rupaha, the closest possible. Right? So what is Can you repeat this? Yeah. So once I have to in meditation understand that is everything outside is what we call Virat, the Brahman, the body of the Ishvara, and inside is the consciousness. So they are one only. So once I understand their oneness, then they are not separate things, right? So both become one. Then Atma becomes my inner form, my inner, what we call nature, not form rather. Nature is the more correct word. So if it is my nature, then it is what we call the innermost realization for me, pratyak rupa. So if you can understand this word a little bit more, uh, there is something called idam, something outside of me, something that I see, some object, and there is aham is me. So anything that is outside of me, I call it by a name that it is paroksha, दूर है मेरे से, बहुत दूर है. Yes, or even something in front of me. It is far from my inner consciousness, and so I that is how I perceive, something separate from me. And then there is another word that is pratyaksh, that is very close, I can easily see, so paroksh is farther, no, it's not seen by me, uh, and pratyaksh is seen by me. But aparoksh, what is aparoksh? It is not paroksh, it is not even pratyaksh, it is me only, right? So aparoksh is the nature of atma. So if there is a text by Shankaracharya also, Shankaracharya Bhagavan, that aparoksh anubhuti. So aparoksh anubhuti is the experience of Atma as myself. That is the innermost Atma. So in this way, we understand this. So next, we'll go on to the next mantra. So this is the concluding. This is just नाचिकेतम् उपाख्यानम् मृत्युप्रोक्तम् सनातनम् उक्त्वा श्रुत्वा च मेधावी ब्रह्मलोके महीयते. Once again. नाचिकेतम् उपाख्यानम् मृत्युप्रोक्तम् सनातनम् उक्त्वा श्रुत्वा च मेधावी ब्रह्मलोके महीयते. So Nachiketam Upakhyanam, this story about Nachiketa, this uh, dialogue between Yamadharmaraja and Nachiketas, Mrityu Proktam, that is being said by Mrityu Devta or by Yamadharmaraja, is Sanatanam. It is an eternal truth. It is an eternal story. It is not something that even at that time of the story when it is being said, the Upanishad is talking here. So Upanishad is saying this is a story that is eternal, something that is revealed to the rishis as something beyond time, right? And Uktva Shrutva Cha Medhavi. So whenever a Medhavi Purush, whenever a intelligent person listens to this, he Brahma Loke Mahiyate. So he goes to Brahma Loka. So we'll expand this a little bit more. So what is this? Nachiketam Upakhyanam. Here, what one thing is we notice is that the conversation is over now. So they have gone to have their tea and snacks. Nachiketa and the Yamadharmaraja, they are not here now. So now the Upanishad is talking to us, to the listeners. So the two main proponents of the story, they have gone for their break. And so now what is the Upanishad telling us? That through Nachiketas and Mrityu Devta, I, the eternal consciousness, or I, the Brahman, or I, the speaker of the Upanishad Vakyas, so that I am giving you this knowledge, and this knowledge that is being told to you, this Upakhyanam, this beautiful knowledge, that is given through the mouth of Mrityu. Because what happens? The eternal knowledge is always available in the eternal waves of the universe, in what we call the Hiranyagarbha, right? And so with Ishvara. So that is always available. So there is only some people who can connect. Those are the rishis. So when they connect, they can listen to that knowledge, and then they can pass it on to us, right? They can pass it on to us. And in this way, this has been passed. And so this knowledge is Sanatanam, beyond any time limit, ever new, ever effulgent. So whoever listens to this Uktva Shrutva, whoever listens to what has been said in this text, if he is a Medhavi, if he is an intelligent person, he will go to Brahma Loka, that is, and there he will be praised among all. So this can be understood in two ways again. what is the understanding here? That someone who listens to this, he will go to Brahmalok, which is the lok of Brahmaji, and there because this person has reached this place through what we call upasana and uh, shravanam and upasana. So he will go there Brahmaji will give him knowledge, and finally he will go for liberation. This is the process we call krama mukti. Krama mukti, not the direct liberation, that when we understand our nature over here, then we can get that liberation later on, when once we have done this with upasana. But if we understand it with the word medhavi, or someone intelligent, that means someone who has understood this knowledge, जिसने समझ लिया पूरी तरह अच्छे से. So if someone who has understood this knowledge, he will go to Brahmalok, means he will join Brahman, he will become Brahman, he will be liberated, right? So if the intelligent person listens and he has understood also, he will be liberated. And but if someone has just listened to it with just Shraddha, not understood, but he has done upasana on this, then he will go into Brahma Mukti. Right? So this is being described here. And then the final one. Ya imam paramam guhyam shravayed brahma sansadi prayata shraddha kaleva tadanantyaya kalpate तदानन्त्याय कल्पत इति य इमं परमं गुह्यं श्रावयेद् ब्रह्म संसदि प्रयतः श्राद्ध काले वा तदानन्त्याय कल्पते तदानन्त्याय कल्पत iti. So there the repetition is to signify the end of this chapter, right? So ya imam paramam guhyam, this knowledge that is being given here, paramam, the knowledge about the highest reality, and guhyam, very, very secret, not given to everyone, right? It is said in the Gita that Bhagavan says that don't give this knowledge to anyone. Only give it to someone who has interest, anyone who shows interest in this knowledge. Because the someone who does not value it, he will never be able to comprehend it also. Right? There are a lot of people who are who are knowledgeable, but they don't have this full knowledge. But when you ask them to come to it, already their ego will come in between. They don't want to learn. And I have seen so many people who, when I check them out, when I talk to them, I understand they are making lots of mistakes. But you tell them to come to a class and try to understand, they will not. Let's leave aside the class also. Even if you discuss with them, they will insist that they are right with whatever notion they have. So therefore, this knowledge is revealed to someone who has Shraddha. Shraddhavan labate jnanam. So this Shravayed Brahma Shravan is to hear. Shravayed is to tell. To someone who narrates this. Narrates to whom? Brahma Sansadi. The people who are interested in this knowledge of Brahman. The people who are on this path towards spiritual liberation. If someone recites this knowledge, just chants this knowledge, and then prayatav shraddha kaleva, or at the death of some time, tat anantyaya kalpate, he reaches the ultimate limit, anantata. So here both states are given here. What are these? Both of them. First is that whoever listens to this paramam jnanam, and he narrates to people who are spiritually oriented, they will go towards their liberation. And then secondly, you would have seen that maybe most of you would have heard that when someone is dying, the 8th chapter of the Gita is chanted. Right? You would have seen it in 8th chapter. So 8th chapter is what? What does the 8th chapter tell you about? It tells you that whatever is your final vritti, the last thought, okay, that is the gati, or that is the end it will take you to, because that is the strongest in your mind. So that is where it will take it you. Like in the case of Jad Bharat, what was his final thought about the deer? And so he became a deer in the next birth. Even though he was such a wise person, because of his attachment to this animal, he had to become a deer for one birth. Then again he took another birth, where he finally was able to go to liberation, right? So that is a long story some other time. I think maybe you have told it somewhere earlier also. So, someone, in this Shraddha Kal, someone when he's at the deathbed, then telling that to that person will create that vritti, will create that thought in the mind of the person. He is not able to speak, but the person can hear. The last power to go away is hearing. Can anyone guess why? Which is why the last power to go away is hearing? Yes. आकाश तत्व, राइट?
Air.
सटलेस्ट, सबसे सूक्ष्म वही है, राइट? सो सटलेस्ट इज दैट वन. Did someone answer in the chat? Akash, Urshita, very good, beta. Yeah, so Akash Tattva is the subtlest, so that is why the hearing goes last, right? Finally, it merges into what? The prana, the prana. And then finally the prana also merges into the mana. So then it goes, then the Sukshma Sharir goes to the next. So when that impression, that last impression is that of my true nature, is that I am Ananta, I am Anantaha, then the travel is again to that Brahmaloka where you get that Krama Mukti. Therefore, this Upanishad is said to be very, very auspicious. It is said to be, this is also said to be chanted when someone is at the deathbed. You can chant the Gita 8th chapter, that is also the same. This is also the same. So this is Paramam Guhyam. This is very, very highly revered knowledge that is there, and this knowledge has to be accordingly chanted in front of people who are interested. Brahma Sansadi, right? And therefore, whoever takes up this knowledge, he will finally be able to move towards his liberation. So, we have finished this first chapter, all the three vallis. So, before we go on to the next, which we'll do in the next class, we'll just do a short summary of what we have seen so far. So, we'll just look at this summary of whatever we have covered here, so that you can remember in sequence how we approach this knowledge and what are the important things. So first class, what we saw in the initial part of it was the first 9 verses where the story is, right? The story is given there where Nachiketas is been described as watching his father, and then he is doing this Vishwajit Yagna, and because he's doing this, he has to give Dakshina. So he tells him, why are you giving these old cows? So your Dakshina should always be the proper one. So that is telling us that whatever we do in our life, we should do with the best of our availability. We should never, do conjuicy, never do any kind of miserliness in whatever we do. So therefore, then after that, his father, because he gets a bit angry and he ends up saying something. So because of that, Nachiketas then has to go to Yamaloka. So that is signifying what? That signifies that whatever your words, that satyatvam, that's truth of your words, you should maintain. So whenever you have said something, don't blurt it out just like without thinking. But if you have said something, you must follow. वो तुम्हें करना चाहिए. So that was the reason how he was finally able to go to Yamaraja. And there, when he told this story, then in this story, when he reached that part where he was waiting for Yamadharmaraja, he had to wait for some time. So therefore, in that waiting period, when Yamaraja came home, he had to give him 3 boons because he had to keep the Brahman waiting. So that shows how much we revere Atithi Puja. It shows. So that Atithi Puja is his Atithi was Nachiketas. So he gave him this very powerful 3 boons. No, anything you can ask, right? So therefore, this is the story part. Then in the 10th and 11th verses, we saw that how the boons have been asked for. So the first boon that he's asking for is for his family, right? I feel that his father should be happy when he goes back. He should not be disturbed and he should not worry for him and all that. So the first boon is for the family. Then after that, what is the next boon? The next boon he is asking for in the 14 to 17 verses, he is asking for the well-being of his society. He's asking for the three Nachiketa Agni, three Nachiketa, or he's basically asking for a knowledge about Yajna. Knowledge about the Yajna. So that knowledge is next given. And what is Yajna going to do? It is going to take the doer to Sargaloka, or to a higher state of happiness. So that higher state of happiness is next asked for. And this is something that he is going to give to his kutum, his family or village. That is, they will gain. So next, that is the next level. So he is widening his vision. And this is a bit what we saw also called Virat Upasana or Vishwarup Upasana. Through the yajna, we always do what we call is the Virat Upasana. So whenever you are doing a yajna, remember always this thing. You are not just putting something into the fire and asking for something. There should always be a period where you keep 5 to 10 minutes to meditate. To meditate on what you are doing or what you are offering. And slowly over a period of time, make that offering the offering of yourself. I am offering myself to you, my Lord. Make me pure, make me a recipient to the knowledge that is the highest knowledge. And so many beautiful things will be revealed to you in that state. Sometimes you will go into a very, very intense state of meditation. So that is why this is called Upasana Karma Samuchaya. Through this karma, through this yajna karma, you can also do upasana. You can also purify your mind so that it becomes more receptive. So whenever after that you do any kind of spiritual study or shastra study, it will become very, very easier and clearer for you, right? Whenever you're doing a homework. So therefore, now next stage was what? Yamaraja, he's asked, Nachiketas asked for the final boon, which is the one about knowledge. So there, artha, karma, artha, dharma, artha, and kam. All these he has now attained. Now, Yamaraja, he's trying to control and trying to, tempt him that I'll give you a lot of things, whatever you want for. So, beautiful damsels, chariots, and whatever pleasures you can ask for. And therefore, he said, Nachiketa said, no. Ya iyam prete vichikitsa manushya asti iti eke nayam asti iti cha eke etad vidyam anushishta tvaya aham varanam Esha Varas Tritiya. I want this only. The third varam has to be about self-knowledge. Ya iyam prete vichikitsa manusya. What will happen to us after death? Will I exist or will I not exist? Will my existence end with that? Etad vidya manushishta. Tell me that vidya. Tvaya aham varanam esha varas tritiya. This is my third boon only. So please do not distract me. So all over he has shown that he is very, very mature and he's not going to be swayed. So then in the later on in the 26th verse, finally he says to Yamadharmaraja, please don't distract me. Shobhava martyasya yad antrak etat sarvendriyanam jarayanti tejaha api sarvam jivitam alpameva Taveva Vaha, Tava Nitya Gita. Keep your Nityan Geet with you. Keep your dancing damsels with you. I don't want any kind of physical benefits. So I know Shobhava Martyas, all these objects of the world are very, very ephemeral. They have a very short life. So therefore, Hey Antak, Hey Mrityu Devta, I know that they will make me weaker, because the more I involve myself into sense objects, my mind will lose its control. Because what happens? The sense organs and the sense objects, they control us. They control us. So if I have to be beyond their control, then I have to give them up. And that is showing his vairagya, right? So so now Nachiketas has clearly shown that he has the requisite qualities, that he has the Shama, Dama, then he has the Viveka, and finally Vairagya also. So, and in the next mantra also, he has clearly shown that wealth will never satisfy everyone. Na vittena tarpaniya manushya, lapsamahe vittam adraksham chetva, jivishyama yavadishyasi, Tvam varastu me varaniya se aiva. So na vittena tarpaniya manusha. Wealth can never satisfy. Even billions of dollars will ultimately lead you towards more and more sense pleasures, which will trap you in the world. So therefore, they will never give you what is called tripti. They will never give us satisfaction. I want more. I will get. I want even more, even more. This will see a bit more in detail in the second chapter, first verse also. 211. So, therefore, this mature head of Nachiketas has said clearly that there is nothing more. So, after that, what comes? After that is this the Yamadharmaraja. He goes into praise. He starts praising Nachiketas. So, that is what we call Shishya Stuti. So, there he's telling clearly that you are very, very persuasive. I am very, very happy. So I'm willing to give you this knowledge. And then there is the next is the greatness of the teacher. That is the stuti of the guru. So the guru must be shrotriya, brahmanishtam. So the guru must be capable of giving this knowledge. Because what will happen if the guru is coming to you and he himself is getting miserable when he is telling you that you are Ananda Rupa, then will you believe him? You will not, right? So therefore, the guru also has to be similarly absorbed into that knowledge, right? Because in worldly knowledge, you don't have to become what you are teaching, right? So if a microbiology student, a teacher is teaching microbiology, he doesn't have to become a microbe, thank God. So therefore, anything that is being taught by a teacher, that is external to him. But this is internalized. That is why someone who teaches, he will always have to be very, very careful that he doesn't show any kind of weakness in front of the student, or show not just weakness, show any kind of deviation from the teaching. And that is the nature of the teacher. And then finally, the knowledge itself, the Vidya Stuti is the next part, where the teaching is explained as giving you the highest knowledge. It will take you to Ananda. There is nothing higher than that. Ananya prokte gatirast nasti aniyan hi atarkyam anupramanat. So this knowledge is going to take you to ananyata, non-separation from that highest. And gatiratra nasti, there is no higher state of a state that you can reach. And aniyan, it is very, very subtle, this knowledge. Atarkyam, not to be told by debate. And anupramanat, very, very subtle. So this is the section where we are entering into the second. We have completed the second Valli, where the knowledge is completely transmitted. Then in the third part is what we saw is the beautiful, what we call the chariot example, right? Ratha Rupakam. So in that Ratha, the body is shown as the Ratha, and then the destination has to be reached. We have to travel. So, what kind of travel is it? Is it a physical travel? No, it is a travel where we go to the final destination by knowledge, right? It is a travel in uh, developing the concept. It is a travel in developing the concept. So, by Guru Shastra Shravanam, Guru Shastra Updesham, we are going to reach that. So, there in this part, the concept that was given by Nachiketas, anyatra dharmat, anyatra adharmat, anyatra asmat krita kritacha, anyatra bhutacha bhavyacha, yat pashyasi tadvada. He had asked Yamadharmaraja to tell him what is that Atma which is beyond dharma and adharma, which is beyond doership and non-doership, which is beyond time, bhutacha bhavyacha, beyond what was and what will be. So that knowledge, jat pachyasi, the way you see that knowledge, the way it is revealed to you, tatvadaha, tell it to me also. Right. So therefore, this same line is expanded upon in this final section. Right. So the Atma being Nirvikaram, all of that is explained in this. So in the third section, after telling about this Rath Rupakam, the next part is where he's telling about the Panchakosha. So Panchakosha Vivek is done. So in that Panchakosha Vivekaha, the Atma being innermost, right? So we're traveling from the sharir, the body, into the mind, then the intellect, then Mahataha. If you remember, we talked about the CD, the staircase we take, so that once we are traveling first in the individual level, the Jeev level, then right, we don't go directly to consciousness. We don't directly jump to consciousness. We take the intermediate level, where from the individual level, we go to the total level, right? So my buddhi connect to the Jagat buddhi, connect to the total intellect, right? So once I do that, then the final leap, the final jump from the material to the spiritual it becomes easier. So once I connect my buddhi to Bhagavan, once I connect my buddhi to Hiranyagarbha, once I connect my buddhi to Ishvara, then what is happening? Ishvara will guide me after that. Ishvara will tell me where to take which is the direction in which I have to take. And so in this way, and then finally we saw today that the Swarupaha, right? The definition of Atma, Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha, beyond all of this is this Atma. So in this way, the definition of this part has been given. So now we have finished the first adhyaya, the Pratham adhyaya. So we have some time, so we can enter into the second chapter. Paranchikani vyatinat swayambhuhu kasmat parang pashyati naantaratmanah kaschidhira pratyagatmanam ekshah davrit chakshuramritatvam. So Paranchi Khani Vyatrinat Swayambhu. So Swayambhu, that eternal Lord, what has he done? Or Brahmaji, you can say, Swayambhu. Brahmaji has done what? He has, we say in another verse also it is said, ईश्वर ने हमारी इंद्रियों को हिंसित कर दिया. He has turned our sense organs outwards. Paranchi Khani. He has turned our sense organs outwards. So there, because our sense organs are extroverted, always noticing the objects outside, not going inward. Therefore, this is who has done it? Swayambhu, the creator, who is self-born, Brahmaji. So having Vyatrinat, he has destroyed or afflicted them, all of these sense organs. So therefore, what is happening is, by making them extrovert, Paranchi, this Ishwar has destroyed their ability to go inwards, to focus inwards, right? This is the glory of Maya. So therefore, because our sense organs are outward bound, we are unable to focus them inwards. So there is a story in the Puranas which is about this very thing. So there what happened was, initially in Satyug, in the Satyug, everyone was satisfied with what they had. Whatever they wanted to, through minimum of effort, through their mental power or itself, they could get whatever they wanted to. So there was not what we call the Savior Sevak Bhag. No one was a servant to anyone. Everyone was self-sufficient. So there was no dan also. कुछ देना ही नहीं था. There was no dan. There was no tap. There was no yajna also. There was no yajna because no one needed anything. So no extra, effort needed to be done. So then Indra Bhagwan went to, he then went to Devi Ma, Lakshmi Ma, and he said that, what do I do? Look, you told me that I am Devaraj, but no one is even looking at me. I am valueless. मेरी तो कदर ही नहीं है. So he was very upset that you gave me this power. You said I am I am Devaraj, and yet no one is, even giving me any kind of attention. Everyone is satisfied. No one wants anything extra. So whenever anyone wants, what they can easily attain. So no one is comparing themselves to another. कि उसके पास इतना है, मुझे इतना मिल जाए. That is the main problem with everything in the world. Main problem with everything in the world. So therefore, then Devi Ma said what? She said, okay, look, you are the Devraj. So what we will do is, for you, I am giving you the yajna. So this yajna will be done by the all the people in earth. So whenever they do this, this will give them the things that they want. Desires will be done. But still, it was a sattvic pursuit. Still, yajna में क्या होता है? What you do in a yajna, you do something, you give to nature, you get back something a lot more, and you also distribute. With yajna is the concept of dana. दान भी होता है साथ में. So that is the beginning of what we call the Treta Yuga. So in Treta Yuga, that the next stage is Indra is happy. Yajna Ahuti is being given. Everything is happening very well. And so he is happy that people are doing puja of him. Right. And but after some time, he became more, still he was dissatisfied. He said, it is okay, they are doing this, they are getting the things, but other than that, they don't remember me much. Whenever they need something specific or special, they do this yajna, and after that, they go back to that. They're still not very, they're not greedy. So Devi said, what more do you want me to do? So ultimately said, okay, I am sending my son to the earth and he will help you. And he said, who is the sun? That sun is calm. Calm. So desire. So desire she is sent to the earth. So this desire was whenever is same, then came comparison. उसके पास उतना है, मुझे उससे ज्यादा चाहिए. That person has that much, I want more. And that is the cause of all the kalesh, all the quarrels in the world. That is that desiring for something always more. This is the making the indriyas hinsit. That is, this is making the sense organs outer bond. Why? Because whenever I look at something, as long as I don't desire them, no problem, no issue at all. But the moment I start acquiring objects, I want more, I want this, I want that, then I turn into a competition. And that is where the next stage comes, is the asuras start to come. The asuras come to us in the bhava. Negative power start to come in. Negative power will do what? It will always lead you all the defects that are there. No, calm, krodh. Calm is the beginner. From that, all the remaining will come. सारे बच्चे हैं उसके. काम, क्रोध, लोभ, मोह, मद, मात्सर्य. All six come in sequence. So once this happens, people are bound and they are forever they become what we call the pashu of the devtas. Devta ke pashu. Why? They are like the pets. So just like a pet is always dependent upon us, we also become the pets of the gods because we are forever dependent on them. We are forever asking for them, forever begging for them. So once we do that, we are trapped. And that is the essence of this verse, Paranchi Khyani Vyatirinath Swayambhu. So the Lord has made the sense organs outgoing. So once he's done that, we are caught in the objects of the world. And once we are caught there, the sequence continues so that desire does not end even with this birth. At the end of this birth also, I am carrying still so many desires which are left unfulfilled. I want to be a movie star. I want to be a rich person, whatever our dreams, or even something related to talent or something related to capacity to do something, right? So all of these things add to our karmas, or they become our what is karma? Karma is a desire within you. So once that desire is left, there are unfulfilled desires, they become what we call our sanchit karma, the total sum total of all our whatever actions we have done, whatever desires we have, whatever vasanas we have, and these reside in our karan sharif. So they propel us to our next birth. So therefore, here Yamaraja is giving the reasoning for why people don't turn towards Atmajnanam, right? He tried to direct Nachiketas from this path to that of sense pleasures. Why? Because he wanted to see whether he will get trapped. So now he's giving the reasoning. He's giving the reasoning. Why? Because our sense organs are directed outwards, right? So this is basically the main essence of this verse. A little bit more we can look in the next time. Time is up for today. So we'll wind up for today. Om Purnamadav पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। हरि ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम। ओम तत्सत्।